A promising start, but will we get all three? Legacy Deluxe Class Kickback today on Guerrilla Reviews. Well, with Legacy, they seem to be in an odd mindset of, yes, we're going to include a lot of different lines, but it's going to be in the G1 aesthetic. For a lot of figures that are already G1, this isn't an issue. For things like Prime, it's turning out a little weird. But for the Insecticons, they seem to end up on the better end of this section, because we do have a very nice bug mode. As for accessories, we do have the original styled gun for the Insecticons. We also have these interesting energy wave parts, which serve as several things. Here they can be wing add-ons as well as guns, according to the promo pictures. They can also be used as blades to replace some of the main ports or in the hands, which we'll get to a little later. Now, there is speculation as to whether or not these parts right here, with all three Insecticons, they can combine into some sort of super weapon. That remains to be seen, but it would be nice if it did, instead of having yet another canceled gimmick option. For comparisons, here we have the Legends class Kickback, which while superb does have his nitpicks. The one advantage is that his chest cavity does open, but that was mostly for the Titan Master gimmick. This one does not. It's actually just screwed in, so there is no way to open that chest. So that's a sticking point for some people. Also, amazingly, we have a complete Fallout Cybertron Kickback. May not seem like much, but considering the number of parts this figure can lose, it's kind of a miracle. And yes, I do have the disc launcher. Don't at me. Now, as for articulation, well, we'll get to that a little later because it's kind of just there to be a bug. And when we get to robot mode, the articulation will actually be useful. But you can move the wings around, and despite misgivings, this part here is fairly thick, so the chances of it snapping are fairly low. Though I imagine not being in the cold weather like I am probably plays a factor in that too. Building on a transformation itself, we will start by moving these wings up forward, folding this part of the arm in, twisting this part of the leg to form the hand, bring these down, so fold this foot in, repeat with the other leg. Fold those into here, bring out the feet, bend the knees forward. Strange to say that, but that's what you have to do. All those things are rather painful. Remove the gun, fold down the face cover, twist the face around, put the gun in his hand, and there we go. Kickback, robot mode. And yes, we do see a very nice robot mode here. Very reminiscent of the Generation 1 figure, which I don't possess. I'll be able to break the Insecticon or G1s for Shrapnel and Bombshell, but I never had a Kickback as a kid, so there we go with that. Now for comparison, again we have Legends Kickback and see here now, Fallout Cybertron Kickback. And yes, I did manage to transform the thing as best I could. And for those of you familiar with the non-Euclidean physics involved in transforming Fallout Cybertron Kickback, the fact that I still have this thing in one piece is something of a miracle. Onward to articulation, the head is an on ball joint, little limited due to the way the head works. Universal joint for the shoulder. Bicep swivel, full bend for the elbow, nothing for the wrist though. Waist swivel, which you'd think they'd include that for the transformation, but not as such. Oh well. Thigh swivel, a mushroom peg, 90 degree knee bend, no ankle tilt, but yeah, no ankle tilt at all. Which is kind of weird considering that it has... Oh no. Okay, so you can tilt it, but... You can tilt it to the side there. But it looks... kind of breaks the sculpt a little bit. But it is there, if that excites you. And again, with these weapons, you can hold them in the hand like this. For a pair of twin blades, you can have them like that. And again, in the insect mode, you can have them as guns. Imagination is required for that, but for some people that isn't an issue. And it's at least something you can do with the accessories. Now, I have to admit that with the increasing cost of these figures, it's becoming more and more problematic to just pick it up as you want. So I'm at least planning things out. So I do plan to get a shrapnel and bombshell to go along with Kickback. What's going to happen after that is anybody's guess. Anyway, I'm the Deceptiwolf. This has been Legacy Kickback, and I'm going to remind you all, free your mind, free your toys.